Did you ever have, let's call it a normal job, Conor, a 9 to 5?
Yeah, because the Irish thing is to get into a trade straight away. I was no different. As soon as I finished school, I was always getting pestered. What are you doing with your life? You're doing this, doing that. They didn't know what it was. They didn't know what MMA was. They didn't know what none of this. They didn't know I could make a career out of it. As far as they were concerned, my man and dad I'm talking about, as far as they were concerned, I was just getting into a cage and fighting with some other guy. They didn't know nothing about it. No one did, really. But I knew, you know what I mean? I knew. But and then I ended up getting a trade just to keep them quiet. Because I used to have a lot of fights with my dad.
What trade did you get?
I ended up getting a trade as a plumber. Literally up in the back arse of nowhere, up in the Wicklow Mountains. And funny enough, that site was one of the biggest sites in Europe. Kiltiernan. It was right at that skiing place. Huge. And now it's just abandoned. Now it's just deserted. So I used to go up there 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning. I was on that M50. I used to have to walk to the N4. About half an hour from my house, wait for some Limerick guy that I didn't even know. He'd drive on the M4 and I'd have to flag him down. Nightmare, yeah. 2 hours down on the M50, 2 hours back. Literally 14-hour days, and I was the first year, so I had to go and do everything. I had to go to the shop. I had to go and get this and get that. So I always had trouble with that, and I was like, this isn't for me. This is not for me.
How long did you last?
I lasted 18 months doing it, but it was tough, you know what I mean? It wasn't the life for me, you know what I mean? And then John said, because I was training with John as well at the time. And then John got in touch and says, I have a show, I'm running a show, I'd like to fight on it. And then that was it. I just packed it in, didn't show up. My dad used to come in and punch the head on me and like try and drag me out of bed. And I just wouldn't go, you know what I mean? I had an uproar for a good few years with him over, but and that was it. I just packed it in, quit, and then focused on training. And I knew what was gonna happen. I knew I was gonna get here. They didn't. There's a lot of stressful years, you know what I mean? A lot of tough times. But I proved them wrong. I proved myself right.
Weren't you working in the plumbing business?
I was working in the plumbing business at the time, yeah, but I'm trying to think. It would have been around that time that John, see, I'd left the plumbing business. I left the plumbing business.
How bad was that?
The plumbing?
Yeah.
Horrendous.
Were you actually in the trenches?
I mean, it was an industrial.
Ooh.
So I'd be like building this. It'd be like the plumbing that would be needed in a place like this, 6 o'clock in the morning, and the motorway. And I used to have to walk for about an hour to get to the motorway, and then I'd stand on the edge of the motorway and wait for a bloke to drive by, so he'd give me a lift. And then the motorway was like getting renovation at the time, so it'd take me 2.5 hours to get to the place. It was out in the country. Then I'd be there for 10 hours walking, and I was a first year, so I was the worst of the worst. And it was only beginning. Then 2 hours to get back in the traffic again. It was just a horrible time. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to do this. And then I just left, and then I just stopped going, didn't get out of bed. Then my dad would come in and try and bait me out of bed, and we'd have fights. And literally, for a good while, I didn't really speak to my dad. We just kind of stayed away from each other. Anytime I come across my dad, anytime we did speak was to fight.
You lived in his house?
Yeah, I was only 18, 17, 18.
But you didn't talk to him? Isn't that kind of awkward?
Yeah, well, not like it wasn't, whatever, you know.
You didn't have just a deep relationship?
Yeah, but since this has happened,
right.
Since the dream has happened, since the vision that I had has come true, and like he went through a tough time as well because he got testicular cancer.
Oh.
So he got sick and all over, and in my head I was thinking maybe I done that because he's worried about me and doesn't know what I'm gonna do, and all these fights that were happening all the time, and like I'm talking full on fights. He come in and punch it. We're going at it. Yeah, we're going at it.
You're punching back?
But yeah, we're going at it, yeah.
Wow. What does your mom say about that? It was so protective of you.
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't know. She just stayed out, you know. But since,
why did it get to that point where he was that mad?
Because I was doing absolutely nothing. I was out getting into trouble. Yeah, it basically felt like I was doing fuck all. I was a waster. You know, I was a waster. Called that a lot. You know what I mean? But now. Like and then when I start getting that focus and realize, you know, I'm gonna make this happen. And then now that has happened, I'm making it happen. I have a great relationship with my dad. Like we talk all the time, and I even see energy in him, and I see energy in my mom. It's depressing times for a lot of people in Ireland. There's a lot of bad stuff going on in the country. A lot of people are struggling. Everybody's struggling. But now since them seeing me chase this dream, it's given them an energy, and I see a new lease of life in them. And that alone spurs me on even more. So it's all just a perfect storm that's happening for me. And that is why I have this tunnel vision, and that is why I'm willing to kill every single man in my path to get that belt, you know what I mean? To secure the future, my family's future, you know what I mean? That's what I'm doing it for. When I was a kid, I used to always visualize stadiums and like, even when I was playing football, I'd kick the ball against the wall and I'd pretend I scored a goal, and I'd run off and I'd be raising my hand and visualizing a arena full of fans. And that was something I'd done as a kid out on my own. I like just running around kicking the ball. So I always had these visions of something, but I just didn't know what it was. And then I suppose when I came to these events and I started training MMA and then came to an event, it was like, okay, this is it. This is what I'm gonna do. And then now I'm doing it.
We keep seeking more. We keep, you know, they tell me you'll never do this. You'll never win world titles. I've done it consecutively. So we keep pushing the envelope. Keep going. So I'm almost, I conquer one, and then I'm on to the next. So I work and I hustle like I'm not in the position I'm in. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm set. I could literally just put my feet up, but I hustle like I'm not in that position, and I work like I'm not in that position.
Stare at your past and you'll end up staying there. It's okay to look back and admire it, but you carry on. I'm not in the business of staring back at it. You know what I mean? And getting lost back there. People say a loss can make or break a fighter, but trust me, a win can also make or break a fighter, because they get comfortable with a win. People can get comfortable with a win, and slack off then. Slack off on the training, slack off on the diet. They've won one. They're winners now. That's not me, you know. You sleep on a win and you'll wake up with a loss. So I just carry on. Keep doing what I'm doing. And that's why this turnaround is so good for me. Vegas, straight away. The Fighting Irish head to the fighting capital. It's perfect. Continue on this path, the freight train straight to the top.